Hey folks, today we're going to be doing a video of how to install a new head unit for your audio in a C4 Corvette. We're doing a 96 here, which is in need of a bath, and I'll kind of show you through the current state here. Now this is a 96 and it has the Bose system. Mine's with the cassette, and previously what I was using was a DAC. Cassette with the aux, and basically my phone would feed into the DAC. The DAC would do some processing, output it into the aux that feeds the cassette, and honestly it worked pretty good for a while. If you want to keep your original system in place, I think the DAC high quality sound files definitely helped, but I could probably fix this, but I recently kind of broke this and it was time to get a new system. Wanted to get Android Auto in there, wanted to get higher quality audio, EQ, everything that comes along with a modern head unit. So what we'll be doing here today is removing the fascia here to get at this head unit, pull it out. We're gonna have to take off some of this stuff. We'll remove the passenger seat most likely, and for those that don't know, in the 96, I believe either 93 and up and 94 and up, basically the ones with the airbags up here, the tuner box for the Bose system sits in the back, I think right around here. So we're gonna have to get this out, probably pull up some carpet, pull out this passenger seat, open up the side here, take this out, and what we'll do is first kind of open everything up, pull out the old stuff. We'll do a test fit of just the connections, make sure that signal, electrical, everything is working there. Once we get a test fit, we'll probably start running some of the other wires. So we're gonna have to figure out a way to run the microphone for the hands-free set. Seen some people kind of mount it in here, so gotta find a way to get a cable out of the cavity over to here. There's gonna be a GPS antenna that helps with your Android Auto calibrate your position, because your phone is going to be down or whatever, and you can't necessarily use that to get accurate GPS position. So I believe most people are somehow taping that somewhere within the cavity. We'll check to make sure that that gets signal, and then the other thing is with my unit, which we'll go through here in a second, the Sony, there's USB-C that runs out the back, and then also a micro, I believe, HDMI that you can use to drive video. And I'm gonna try to run both of those alongside the side here into the console, so that if I want to plug in a USB for my music, my phone, or drive the video off the HDMI, I can everything plugged coming out of here. So before we start ripping stuff out though, let's go take a look at kind of the bill of materials and the parts that we're going to be using. Okay, so first step, prepping the work area. Eventually we're going to get to the screws here, starting with the ones in the AC. We're going to have to open up this console, then take the door off so that we can pull this off so that we can get to the screws very low down here. We're going to get the chair out because, again, and I believe either 93 and up or 92 and up, whenever the airbags are added to the passenger side, this tuner box is located behind the seat here. So we know we want to route some cables into the back of the console for the phone and the HDMI input, and then we're also going to have to tap into here. So first step, let's get to some of the prep here. Okay, for the passenger seat removal, there's two covers on top of the bolts that we had to pop with little retaining clips over top of them. We'll get this cushion removed, which will give us access to some of the electrical that we need to unplug on the power seats, and then we'll be able to hit the attachments from the back, moving the seat forward, and then we'll get everything pulled out of here. So here's an example of one little retaining clip I just pulled out. You'll see them at the front here. You just need like a flat head to get inserted in there. It comes out pretty easy. Let's see. A little bit more. Okay, 2 retaining clips out. Removes these covers, which provides access to these guys. Okay, once these are exposed, these take little 13s, so we're just gonna get these front 2, move the seat forward, then we'll unplug the electrical once we don't need the power anymore, and then we'll get the rear. Okay, same thing in the rear here. Let's see. Might have to go shorter here. It's too short. Okay, 1 second. Okay, for here, these are a bit longer, so we'll switch to open head ratcheting. Get these guys loose. Okay, so once you've gotten your rear bolts out, while this is still connected to power, you're going to bring that back to give yourself a bit of room up here. And then we're gonna have 2 harnesses to connect. My understanding is that this one here is a little thing to depress. You don't need to mess with the clips or the top or the bottom. And then we'll have to see how we get this one done. So here should be a slightly better shot of this. There are clippy things on the top and bottom of this. I think what we're trying to get to is that piece in the middle, depress it so you can slide it out. Okay, so yeah, that was the trick. This has some play to it, so being gentle as to not to crack this, you're just gonna try to push up, get that to raise a little bit. I thought you could depress this, which is why I've scored the fuck out of that, but that's fixed. Don't push on that. Just raise this and you should be good. Now in this one, you are trying to depress what you're pulling out. Kind of fits into this groove here. So I think if we get that down a little bit, start working on this. It's hot as fuck here, so losing some grip. Let's do this. Let's get the grip. There we go. Okay, now these 2 are disconnected, so we should be able to pull this out. Learning something new every day. Didn't grow up working on cars, so this is how I learn. Now, did I? Ooh, one more. This little guy. I probably broke that tab. Okay, we'll figure that out later. So now, got a lot more room. I'm gonna clean this up. Probably take this out, get this fascia out, start figuring it out. We're gonna take this guy out with a T50. Nice. Okay, and that should allow me to get this off and eventually that off. Okay, as you can see here, I'm going after the carpet in the rear cargo area next. Haven't done this before, so I'm gonna wing it. Looks like you can kind of just pull it apart really. So let's get that done. For the rear carpet, most of it comes out on its own. Velcro are kind of just hooked into places. The one place where I've encountered a screw so far is on this little cabinet in the rear cargo area. If you unscrew this 7 back here, that gives you some freedom to pry this up a little bit, and then this is tucked underneath that so you can pull it fully out from there. Okay, next up I'm going to be going around the edge of this cargo bay or whatever you call this, bunch of 7s. I think that's going to allow me to pop these things off, just making it a little bit easier to get access into here and remove some of this carpet as well. Okay, so you can see some of these screws are easily accessible, the front ones. Some of them you got to open the doors to get at on the wings here on each side. The back ones are all accessible. Once you get all 8 of those 7mm bolts out, this comes out pretty easily, and we have a bit more access here. Next up here, we're working our way back to front. So I'm going to clear out the console here. Eventually I'm going to take this door off the hinges here, and then we're going to get into that front fascia and actually start getting to the heart of the operation here. Okay, inside of the door here, looks like we got 4 7s, so you can keep using what you're just using in the back there. 1, 2, 3, 4. A few other bolts that we're gonna have to get at. There's a 7 in the cup holder here, and then you'll see right here there's a 7 there as well. I don't think I need to take off this paneling on the driver's side, but on the passenger side there's also another 7 up here, and then there's a Phillips screw down here, because eventually we're going to want to take this off, peel the carpet back so that we can see the wires run from the back of the cavity of the head unit through to the rear here. There's also going to be the 7 down here, so a little tricky to get to. It should start to come loose for you. Put that in here for now, and then now we got to start attacking these guys. I believe there's going to be 4 up here. Then we're going to have to play with the shifter to free up some space to lift this fascia, attack 2 down here, and pull that out. So on mine here, looks like a T10. Make sure you keep track of which are screws and which are bolts. Most of these have been the 7s, but this is a T Torx 10. Do the same up here. Can. Now it looks like we're back to the 7s here and here. Okay, here's the piece I was struggling with. You gotta pull back this carpet to get at 2 more, and that's gonna give you the most amount of play to get this piece moved back so you can access these screws up here. Okay, so with the removal of those additional screws, got a lot more play down here. So with your emergency brake on, pull this back, give yourself some room, and then you'll see we got 2 more of these 7s, or 9/32, whatever those are. So let's do those, and then this front fascia should come off, and then we're getting into the thick of it. Hard to get the light on it, but you get the deal. It's right down there. Although now I can't see it. Might want to go shorter here. Let's see. Okay, moment of truth here. I got these 2 undone. I got these 4 at the top done. Should be able to pull this right off now. Let's see. Hey, okay, we're in business here. Got some room to play with. All right, we're getting closer here. We got all the fascia removed here. Sorry, the lighting's gonna be kind of shit. Unplug the car battery, and now we're gonna get these bolts here. Should be a total of 4. We're gonna remove this guy too, to get at some of the side paneling. Okay, with all 6 of those screws removed, come back over to the driver's side. Start to pull this out. There is a screw here, here, and up here that allows you to pull this full thing away and gets you pretty much all the access without needing to do anything up here. Okay, I'm taking you guys handheld here. So in order to start getting rid of this wiring harness, you'll notice there's some other shit coming off of it, running down, running into the cabinet for all this shit. Not necessarily audio related, so what we're probably gonna have to do here is undo all this electrical tape so that we get at just the shit that we need. Then we can remove the audio, and then eventually we'll recable it with the new harness, get it nice and tight, run it back into here. But for now, we're gonna basically undo all of this so we can just get at the audio wiring, remove that, and then we can get to the new stuff. Okay, next up here, we're trying to run the harness, start to get everything through this hole, behind the passenger seating area, into the back. And then we're gonna start running it along the side here. But we're gonna start with those choke points first. So get it wound through here. And then we gotta start winding through it, shit through there, which is gonna be very tight. But I think there's actually, yeah, there's an opening there where we can bypass that. It'll output along the side there. And then because of the unit I'm using, should be very easy to access. What I did for the existing harness was I just cut it up here to free up space. So the one note that I found here is that this harness, the head of it, seems to be too big to go in there. So I'm starting in the back, moving everything forward. I'm getting this stuff out here. I'm actually going to tuck it behind this insulation and carpet, pop it out here, and then I'm gonna start working it to the back there. Okay, so I've started to place fit the wiring. So I've got it, see if you can see it, in through the bottom there, and then it comes up. I'm kind of going behind that little beam there for extra security. I think I got most of the wires placed, so all of the bypass kit should be coming out of here. I've also run my USB-C and my micro HDMI. What I do have to reconnect the ground loop isolators because I don't think those would have fit through that cavity there. So I'm gonna consult. Crutchfield tells you pretty easily which goes where. So I'm gonna start plugging the RCAs into the corresponding RCAs for the back of the head unit. And then once I start to get everything wired into the back of that, we're gonna handle the parking brake, which is needed for video. And then we'll do another test fit just to make sure that all of the wiring works, make sure that I can plug into these peripherals here and do what I need to do. And then assuming everything works again, we will get the mounting bracket placed on this and try to get in there. There is a lot of slack that I'm just keeping in the back, which we'll cable manage later. And then I didn't actually run the line out to the radio. I'll save it for another day, but I'm gonna leave it in here, kind of top it off with E-tape to make sure it's secure. and we'll deal with that rat's nest a little bit later. But for now, we're gonna get the ground loop isolators plugged into the RCA, and then we're gonna do one more sound check with power, and then we'll go and get the harness ready for this. So now I have all the ground loop isolators connected properly. I've started to tuck away some of that bulk way back there. I'm not using some of these other things, so I've tucked those away. And then this is for demonstration purposes. Like, you know, we do have the video that can be driven off the micro HDMI, but you know, in order to maintain compliant with the rules of the road, that needs to be hooked up to your parking brake so that you know, you can only watch video while you're parked. Now, hypothetically speaking, if you were to install one of these in your C4 Corvette in Minecraft, where the same rules of the road don't apply, what you could do in Minecraft would be to cut off this light green wire that would be heading to your parking brake in your C4 Corvette in Minecraft, and you would just get a ground on that. I think you can buy dedicated you know, quote-unquote bypasses. It's not a bypass because the law wouldn't exist within Minecraft. You can ground it other ways. I'm gonna ground it by just taping it, you know, again, for demonstration purposes, to the metal on the head unit here. So that's how, if you wanted to watch video without needing to be parked on your device within Minecraft, that's how you would do it. So I'm just gonna get that done. Then from there, I really just need to run, I want to run the wire for the microphone, and I want to run the wire for the GPS. I think I'm going to try to get it like as high as I can. Once I get all of those kind of put in there, I'm not going to start putting everything away yet. I'm going to hook up the battery, pull out into the driveway, make sure that I'm getting a GPS signal, you know, a couple of different antennas, and then do one last check on the audio before I start boxing everything up. And then I will mount this and then do the final work to put on the fascia and close all this up. So let's get GPS, microphone, and then go from there. Okay, so for the microphone and the GPS, I think I have found two decent spots. For the microphone, we're running it at the top up here. See that a little bit better. I had to undo a screw here and a screw down here to kind of release some of this fascia in front of the instrument cluster. So able to run my wire and then clip that in up top there, and then the wire just kind of works its way down where I can integrate it in the back. And then the GPS antenna has some sticky pad adhesive on the back of it. I tried to just reach my hand up in there as far as I could to get above the metal and try to just be, you know, directly below the dash where it's just plastic. I couldn't really find anything that I was, you know, my hands are kind of fucking, they're not big, but they're fat, and I couldn't really get in there well without removing all the dash. So I think I have found a spot where it's ledged. It's not super secure, but I don't know if it's super necessary either. I know you need it, but I don't know if you need it. So with that in mind, I think I have everything kind of test run as is. I'm gonna connect the battery back up, pull the car into the driveway so that the GPS antennas we could check, and then I will do a sound check on everything. I will check HDMI input, I will check the microphone, I will check USB-C inputs, and just overall make sure that I have everything wired correctly before I start putting stuff away. Okay, I just did my test fit here. Everything's working. Need to check the microphone, but you'll see here, if you want to go to settings, system information, make sure you're getting some signal. So I got 23, good to go. And then you're going to check all your different inputs, Bluetooth, USB-C, HDMI. I just did HDMI. Now, most modern phones won't allow you to use a converter, you know, to drive video to this. But I think what you could do is you could plug in a tablet, Chromecast, something to that effect, where that would be the source of the video feeding the HDMI to the back. So I verified that HDMI works. I verified that, gotta fix that, USB-C works. Now, the one thing I noticed is originally I tried to run a different USB-C cable, and that was not picking up the wired Android Auto. So you got to make sure to put the wire that they put in there, so that your Android Auto wired works, and then that gives you a female, which you can plug into any male-to-male USB-C to do the rest of whatever you want. So I'm gonna fix that, run the USB-C back because I gotta rip the old one out, and then I should be good to go to start mounting this. Okay, so now that I've got all the cables run, I tested everything works, satellite works outside, all that good stuff. I started mounting the Metra mounting kit. It's pretty straightforward. I'll show the fucking my feet. No, I mean, so this is a single DIN. Now it told you to put like this little spacer on the bottom. I was not able to successfully screw in to that bottom little spacer, plastic spacer that goes below the top DIN. So I just got rid of it, and basically on these side panels, what I did is I used 2 screws on each side, and I offset them like X and Y to give them support in both directions. And so it's probably not super stable or ideal compared to having the little spacer box, this thing underneath it. But these holes weren't correct for any of the screws. I don't know, I'm probably stupid and not reading instructions properly, but basically you get those in there, and because you don't have the spacer, and because it's a short single DIN, you have tons of space to tuck your cables back in there, which I just kind of did, tucked away, and then we'll go back to these 7s that we had from before. So 7 here, 7 here, 7 here, 7 here, and yeah, that should suffice for now. Let's get those bolted down, and then we'll keep going with the fascia. Okay, so I've gotten in there, started to bundle this a little bit. You'll notice that the harness from Mectron, what is it called? Mecta? The pre-wrap part extends the full length. So basically the end of this, where it's covered with the sheath, is where it should output back here. And then I don't know why they give you so much fucking slack, but hey. So I've got that in, and then I just did a little test fit to see what it looks like. All in all, looks like a pretty good fit. Let's get the car turned on. Takes about 6 seconds. There we go. Now, the other thing I have to do is figure out how I'm gonna cable manage all this shit. But so far so good. I think we're in the phase of like almost there. Time to start tightening everything down, putting everything away. It's just kind of a pain in the ass, but I think the hard, technical, scary stuff is done. We've confirmed that all the electrical works, GPS works, microphone works, and the rest is just kind of clean up shit. Okay, so now we're gonna start working backwards, getting the side panel of the console with the carpet back in. We're gonna have to do those few bolts along the side here. Then we'll probably close that, then we'll put the door back on, then we'll make our way back here. So just kind of going in reverse order of how we took things off, starting to put things back together. Second day, took a little break. We're midway through patching everything up, and one step that I noticed that's important that you should probably keep in mind if you're not super familiar with these cars is that the gear indicator here, if you were really moving this during the disassembly, there's a good chance that this gear indicator that's connected to the shifter came disconnected, and if you don't reconnect it, one, it could like impact your shifting, and two, you know, potentially not update your gear selection. So make sure before you start clamping this down that you're gonna look beneath, and you'll see there with the little blue end, there's like a kind of a pin that extends out from the shifter, and then that gear indicator slides on a rail, and you're gonna line that up to make sure that it's tracking. So just make sure as you're reassembling the console here, you line that up. Another quick tip here, when putting the door back on the center console here, you'll notice there's this little clip here. I've noticed that you know, you try to make this as high as you can. There's a little bit of play within this, so try to keep this as high as you can. Obviously you don't want to forget this, because if you don't, it won't attach to that little guy right up there. So try to raise this higher, so you don't have to shove your lid down to get that to close. There you go. Okay, we got the dash here, looking a lot better now. I used to have the phone mount up top. I used to have the cigarette lighter, a DAC, a bunch of cables to run to my aux and to my phone, and back to the DAC and the power supply. Now it's clean. If I need to, I can plug in my cigarette lighter, but you do get the charge coming off the cable that you run to the console. So just in general, looks a lot cleaner. Not that I was really using these cup holders before, but maybe I can put a can in there that stays closed, who knows. Now, gotta clean up these wires in the back here. Once we get that all cabled managed, put the foam insert and the jack back in there, get the cover for these compartments back in, then we'll do insulation carpet, and we should be almost home free before the seat here. Okay, here we are with the final product. Everything's in there. Screen working well. The small bezels and kind of matte finish allows it to really kind of hide away into the console and not look too out of touch. And yeah, we got everything put back together. So job well done here. Time to get the car cleaned up and enjoy the new sound system. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have questions, let me know in the comments. All right, good luck on the next project. See you guys.